Movie buffs, welcome back to the Movie Bay. This is D. In today's video, we're going to take a look at 50 movies from 2010 to 2011 to 2020. Because we did 2010 to 2020, so we're going to take a look at movies from 2011 all the way up to 2020. So I got 50 movies, give or take a few. It might be about 55 here, but I'm going to call the video 50. So without further ado, let's dive in and take a look at 50 good movies from 2011 to 2020. All right, let's start. So the first movie on the list is called Alone. This is 2020's Alone. This is a really good movie. It's about a girl, a lady who's being stalked by this guy he looks very unassuming, but he's crazy. He followed her. What happened was, it was almost like a road rage type of situation to set the whole thing off. He was raging against her. He was driving really slow on purpose, so she went around him, and it was just kind of on from there. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on each movie because we got a lot to get through, but Alone is really good. It's a great thriller. I mean, I really enjoyed this one. I didn't think much of it, but again, I like these guys, Magnet Films. They got some good stuff. So that's Alone. I recommend that one. Here's one that I recommended before, and I recommended again. This is called Held. This is a banger. So you got a husband and wife. Their marriage is on the skits. They get something like an Airbnb. It's like a little getaway for the weekend. And this guy right here in this suit comes out at night. And he does things. And the house is rigged. And the ending of just kind of twist your head up a little bit. It's got like one of them twisty endings to it. It's a really good movie. It's called Held. I like this one. Again, I recommend that. And this is a 2020 film. Next up from 2020, this is a Shudder original, The Boy Behind the Door. I recommend this one also. Again, if you got Shudder, you can check this one out. If you don't have Shudder, you can grab this from probably anywhere that sells movies. It's called The Boy Behind the Door. The Boy Behind the Door is about two little boys. They was on their way to, I think, a baseball game. And somehow they got one of the boys both of the boys got abducted. I think it was one of them that got abducted, and the other one found the other one. And who the abductor was just, you'd be like, wow, a great movie right here. Really good movie. It's a good thriller. I enjoyed this one. It's called The Boy Behind the Door. You'll like this one. Yeah, basically, two little boys was on their way to a baseball game. I think they both got abducted. One got out of the car. He was in a trunk, and he got out. The other boy was in the basement of the house. The one boy got out, but he didn't want to leave without his friend, so he went back in to save his friend. And it was kind of on from there. You'll like this one. Next up, we have 2019's Alita Battle Angel. This was a fantastic movie. I had high hopes for this one, and it lived up. It was great. It was like, I think the whole movie was done like in CGI, but it was done in such a way where they used like the real faces. It was the animation style that they used for this was incredible. It was a great movie, a great story. Everything about this movie was good. It looked great. I would like to see what this one looked like on 4K, but this movie looks really good. Next up, we have 2020's A Quiet Place 2. A Quiet Place 2 is an absolute banger. Picked right up. It had a nice, what I liked about this one, had a really nice recap of the events of 1. Like, even before 1, it recaps how the aliens first came. Great movie. Next up, we have 2019's Ford versus Ferrari. I think Christian Bale and Matt Damon gave performances, again, not of a lifetime, but they gave killer performances in this one. Absolutely killer. Next up is 2019's Dr. Sleep. Some of the critics panned this one, and I'm not really sure why. This was an excellent movie. This was a great follow-up to The Shining. Absolutely incredible movie. I enjoyed every frame of it. Let's see here. 2019 again. We got Joaquin Phoenix and Robert De Niro in The Joker. Now, this wasn't a Batman movie. This had nothing to do with Batman. This was like a case study in The Joker, a case study in mental illness. This movie was an absolute banger. This was a masterpiece. It got a little bit of flack, But man, this movie was all that. I'm sorry. This was it. And part 2 is coming. Not sure how they're going to do that, but okay, next up again, 2019. We have Brightburn, Brandon Breyer, Brightburn. Imagine if Superman, a young Clark Kent, was evil, and you'll have Brightburn. Next up, we have 2018's Black Panther. I loved Black Panther. I thought this movie was fantastic. Wakanda comes to life on the big screen. Next up, we have 2018's. We have A Quiet Place, the original Quiet Place. Fantastic movie. Great movie. Next up, we have 2018's Heredity. Heredity was a really good horror / psych thriller / man, this movie was, the ending of this joint was crazy right here. The end of this joint was crazy. I ain't gonna hold you, man. This was a good movie, but that end, everybody up in that damn tree house with no head, man, what the hell? Man, the ending, the whole movie had like moments to it, but the end where everybody was in that damn treehouse with no head. Oh man! Next up, we have 2018's Halloween. This was the best in the trilogy, the latest trilogies. In the latest trilogy, this was absolutely the best of all 3 of them. I enjoyed this one. The second one, Halloween Kills, that was all right, but oof. Next up, we have 2018's Creed 2. Next up, we have 2017's Spider-Man Homecoming. I dug Spider-Man Homecoming. This was a really good movie. I enjoyed it. You know, Tobey Maguire is still my favorite Spider-Man. I'm sorry. Tom Holland did a great job, but Tobey Maguire is still that dude to me. Next up, we have 2017's John Wick Chapter 2. Not as good as the first one. Next up, we have 2017's War for the Planet of the Apes. Is that War for the Planet of the Apes? A fantastic movie. I liked all 3 of these equally. All 3 of these was banging. Sam Raimi put his... No, not Sam Raimi. Not Sam Raimi. It's going to come to me in a minute. He put his foot in these. Who the hell was that? I'm sorry. It's definitely not Sam Raimi. No, it's the boy who did Batman, who did The Batman. Give me a minute. It'll come to me when all 3 of them is in here, so it'll come to me by the time I get to the next ones. Next up, we have Annabelle Creation, 2017's Annabelle Creation. This is the best Annabelle movie, and this is like one of the best movies in the entire Conjuring universe. Annabelle Creation. This joint was scary as shit. You hear me? This was scary as hell. The other Annabelle movies, the other 2 Annabelle, I think it's 3 Annabelles. The other 2 was all right, but this joint was scary as shit. I ain't gonna hold you. Next up, we got 2017's Thor Ragnarok. Definitely the best Thor movie and one of the top MCU movies. Here's one that just don't get a lot of love, and you got Jake Gyllenhaal, Ryan Reynolds, and Rebecca Ferguson in Life. Life is a 2017 release. This movie is a banger. I liked this movie. This is one that I watched several times and got enjoyment from it each time. Life. Next up is 2016's Brimstone. Now, this is a newer movie to my collection, but I dug it so much I had to throw it on this list. This is a fantastic movie. A great cast, a great movie. Guy Pearce really put his foot in this one, straight up and down. And also, Dakota Fanning, she did a hell of a job in this movie, too. She has grown up and she transitioned nicely from child actress to adult actress. Her transition is very nice. Next up, we have one. This is one of my favorites, 2016's Hacksaw Ridge. If there was any doubt about the acting chops of Andrew Garfield, this should have put it to rest. Andrew Garfield is a fantastic actor. He doesn't get the credit he deserves for. Now, I'm not saying it like he's like Hollywood gold or anything, but Andrew Garfield got chops. I particularly like that movie he did with Michael Shannon where they was evicting people. I forget the name of it. If you remember, drop that in the comment section because I would like to get my hands on that. It was Andrew Garfield, Michael Shannon, and they was evicting people. I think it was all about like the housing crisis of '08, if I'm not mistaken. If you know the name of that movie, drop it in the comments for me. All right, I'm gonna get my hands on that one. Next up, we have Jennifer Lawrence and Chris Pratt in The Passengers. Passengers came out in 2016. So the Hacksaw Ridge, 2016. 2016, this movie is a banger. We talked about this movie before on the channel. This is a phenomenal movie, and I really like it. It's a great love story, basically. That's what this is. It's basically a love story. But it's good. You got to check that one out. I don't go in for those type of movies like that. You notice you don't see a lot of love stories on my channel, a lot of rom-coms. I got a couple here. You don't even really see a lot of comedies. I'm not really that kind of movie watcher, but I got a few. And this right here is a banging love story, and I liked it. I don't even have The Notebook in my collection, and that's one of the best love stories you can get. I seen it, I enjoyed it, but I never picked it up. Not to say that I won't. Next up, we have The Conjuring 2, 2016's The Conjuring 2. This is the best in the Conjuring series, between Conjuring 1, 2, and 3. This is the best in the Conjuring, and this is probably either the first or second best in the entire Conjuring universe. This is a banger. Trust me when I tell you that. Next up, we have Ip Man 3 and Ip Man 4, the finale. Ip Man 3 came out in 2015, and Ip Man, the finale, came out in 2019. I love all four of the Ip Man films. These are fantastic films. I enjoyed them, but I particularly like Ip Man 3. He faces off against Mike Tyson, and I like 4 because it finished the story. We also have 2015's Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hardy in The Revenant. The Revenant, man, that bear fight scene, that right there. Now, I had this on DVD, but I saw this this 4K cheap at my mom and pop store, so I had to get it so I could really watch that bear fight scene in really high resolution. And man, that bear fight scene, sheesh, man. Next up, we just did this movie in underrated movies, the last underrated movies, and this is 2015's Trumbo. Banging movie, fantastic movie. Bryan Cranston did a hell of a job in this movie. John Goodman, everybody did a great job in this movie. Well acted all the way around. Story was good. Everything. This movie is mwah. Next up, we have 2015's. This is where M. Night Shyamalan got his groove back. Because he started off strong. He fell off. He was making some weird shit there for a minute, wasn't he? But man, this is M. Night returning to form. The Visit. Yo, listen. If you never seen The Visit, you need to check this one out. And I'm quite sure if you're watching this channel, you've seen this or at least heard of it. But if you only heard of it and you didn't see it, go grab a copy of The Visit. These are dirt cheap. This is like a common title. You can find this. It's readily available. But this movie right here, the two little kids went to go stay with their grandparents who they never met before. So they didn't know what the grandparents looked like. And some weird shit started happening. But I don't want to give the end away because, man, this right here, M. Night Shyamalan, he put his foot in this one. Next up, we have my favorite out of the Avenger movies I can't say it's my favorite Avengers movie because that will go to Infinity War. But this one is right up there. This is the Avengers Age of Ultron. I dug this. And what made me dig this one the most is Iron Man, Tony Stark in that Hulkbuster suit. That Hulkbuster suit was all that. I'm trying to tell you. Ultron, this movie was phenomenal. I dug it. I think this is one of the best MCU movies. Straight up. Okay. Next up, we have 2015's Sinister 2. Scary as shit. Both of them were scary. That's all I can say. Scary as shit. We also have 2015's Creed, the original Creed. I like this movie, and it took me by surprise. When it first came out, when I first heard about the Creed movies, I said, okay, Apollo Creed's son. I didn't know what to think of it. Then I saw it. I said, wow, okay. I like where they're going. Then Creed 2, Creed 3. I like what they're doing with the Creed series. I really do. It's an enjoyable series. Michael B. Jordan is just a phenomenal actor, and he's shaping up to become a phenomenal director if he keep going the way he went with Creed 3. Also, he's a huge anime fan, and that anime that he was behind on, I do believe, Netflix I think it's called Genlock. That's a good anime, and Michael B. Jordan definitely got a hand in that. So he's got a bright future ahead of him, no doubt about that. Next up, we have 2015's The Hateful Eight, one of my favorite movies in my collection, and definitely one of my favorite Tarantino flicks. Okay, 2014's Whiplash, baby. 2014's Whiplash. Fantastic film. I dug this one. 2014's The X-Men Days of Future Past. Days of Future Past is definitely the best of the First Class series. The first one and this one is the best of the four. I think it's 4 movies in the First Class series. Is it? You got X-Men First Class, X-Men Apocalypse, and Days of Future Past, and the Dark Phoenix. So this is the best of the 4, no doubt. Next up, we have 2014's The Babadook. Such an original horror movie. A really good horror movie, but it's original. Fantastic. You got to check this one out. Let's see, 2014's Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. All 3 of those, I highly recommend all 3 of that series. Denzel Washington, The Equalizer. The Equalizer is a 2014 film. Let's see, where are we at now? Okay, 2014's John Wick. One of the best movies to come out in the whole decade. We have another movie from, okay, now we're on the 2013. 2013, The Harvest. Such a good animated movie that they actually, the new DCU with James Gunn is being rebooted, and the jump off point for it is a movie based on this, The Flashpoint Paradox. So this movie is incredible. It's a very important animated DC movie, and the whole DCU is being rebooted around this movie. Flashpoint Paradox. This movie is a banger. Next up, we have 2013's Man of Steel. I dug this one. I thought this was good, but you know what? I dug Superman Return. I thought Superman Return was good. A lot of people, didn't like that. Critics. That's why the critics, whatever. But I thought Superman Return was good, and I was surprised to see that he didn't return Roth. He didn't return, Brandon Roth. I was shocked to see he didn't return. But Henry Cavill was good. Henry Cavill was a good choice. If you're going to reboot it and do it again, Henry Cavill was an excellent choice. I'm not going to take a dump on Henry Cavill. His performance as Clark Kent in The Man of Steel was excellent. Definitely. And Michael Shannon as Zod. 2013's Tom Cruise, Morgan Freeman, Oblivion. This movie was solid. I dug it. This was definitely a banger. Something different. I actually went to the theater to see this one. I got free screening for this one. I don't think I would have paid to see this one, but I saw it in the theaters and it was good and I wanted to buy it, so I got it. Next up, we have the original Conjuring. The Conjuring came out in 2013. I dug The Conjuring. I thought it was good. Conjuring 2, a little bit better, but this was good. Next up, we have from 2013 again, we got Kick-Ass 2. Kick-Ass 2. I like Kick-Ass 1 too. Kick-Ass is Kick-Ass was banging, trust me. Next up, we got from 2013, Insidious Chapter 2. Definitely a scary movie. I was hoping to see more from the Conjuring universe because the last one, The Devil Made Me Do It, that was kind of weak. And we didn't get in Insidious, The Last Key, that wasn't that good. Like these, between Insidious and The Conjuring, they started off strong, but the last titles wasn't that good. Next up, we have from 2012, The Dark Knight Rises. And then we also have from 2012, the original Sinister, even scarier than the second one. Both of these movies are scary as shit. Trust me when I tell you that. Sinister, the original, is even more scary, but both of them is scary. Next up, From 2012, we got Michael Shannon. This is a masterpiece, The Iceman, based on a true story about Richard Kuklinski, a serial killer. He killed over 200 people. He was a hitman, and he killed most of his kills was for money, but he did some kills for fun too. Richard Kuklinski, the Iceman. I'm not going to say he killed them for fun, because he was, if you've seen any of his jailhouse interviews, they on YouTube, he was just a cold-blooded, I don't know what you call people like that. I don't know if they're psychopaths or whatever the hell they are, but he's absolutely just going. He's emotionless. I don't think he cared one way or another about the people he killed. Richard Kuklinski, do yourself a favor. If you want to know more about this crazy dude here, check out some of the YouTube videos. There's plenty of prison interviews with this guy. Next up, we have 2012's Django Unchained. Let's see, let me get these here, the last few. We got 2011 and 2014, The Raid, Retribution, and The Raid 2. One of my favorites. And this movie is very underrated. You got Ray Stevenson, Vincent D'Onofrio, Val Kilmer, and Christopher Walken in Kill the Irishman. I had a good time watching this. I couldn't take my eyes off the screen. This was it right here. I'm trying to tell you. If you haven't seen this one, you need to check this one out. Kill the Irishman. Next up, we have Rise of the Planet of the Apes, 2011. Banging movie. Just as good. Like I said, the whole series is banging. Forget the director. Shit. We'll find out in a second. Sucker Punch, 2011. One of the best chick flicks I've ever seen. One of the best. There's quite a few good chick flicks out there, but this is one of the best chick flicks you can see. Acting was on point. The way it was shot, the music, especially the music, the soundtrack for this was incredible. I don't know if you can buy the soundtrack separately, but it has some really cool songs in here. Trust me. You'll like this one. The story was so original. The acting was good. The way the movie looked, it looked good. Like, it was a banging movie. Trust me. And last but not least, 2011's X-Men First Class. What a great way to reboot the franchise. The original X-Men movies, they was okay, but this First Class series was much, much better. And real quick, hold on one second, because this shit is like really bugging the hell out of me. Hold on one second. I got to do something real quick. I don't like to leave things unturned. Let's see. Matt Reeves. Okay, so yes, the Planet of the Apes trilogy director is Matt Reeves. I don't know how I forgot that one. Sometimes it happens. I have brain farts. I can't remember everything about all of these movies, but Matt Reeves. Matt Reeves did a hell of a job with that trilogy. He put his foot in that. So, guys, look, that's like 54 movies. I'm going to call the video 50. You know, guys, I always like to throw a couple extras in, but I will call it 50 great movies from 2011 to 2020. This isn't everything. These are just 50 movies, well, 54, that I pulled down at random, movies that I like, that I found a particular, enjoyment from. So that's that, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for rocking with me. Thanks for coming to the channel. We are growing. I appreciate that. Yeah. I'm just going to, you guys keep coming, keep watching, keep subscribing. I'm going to keep the entertainment coming. Thanks for watching.